Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith in the Black, and we're going to start off the new year with the macro vid and a lot of inside years we've been waiting on for a long time. But let's start off with SPY, nowhere near reversal on the year. And so when they talk about things coming down, I'm like, nowhere near a signal. Doesn't mean that we can't come down with continuity, but nowhere near getting a reversal. But if you do take this out, you're back into an old 3. So if they're really going to take them down, first you got to take that out. If we go to the quarter, you see a lot of these things just jammed up on the highs. And there's your quarter, nowhere near reversing that. So all that kind of stuff would have to change. Ever since the 312, this has been twoing its way up into the sky. QQQ, also right there near on the highs on the quarterly. And on the year, nowhere near reversal. So there's that. There's Dow Jones Diamonds. Similar, like I said, if you can get back into these old 3s, then we'll talk. But you're nowhere near that on the year. And the quarter, like I said, a lot of things just going out near the highs. So nowhere near reversal on the quarter there as well. If we go to small cappers a little worse. So small cappers, you have this outside quarter. So that's a 3. So this gets a little bit more interesting coming in to start off the year with the small cappers, the wild card here. If you go to the year, you can see still good chance at inside year. You're in the middle of that. But once again, these outside years would get my attention if they start coming down, but nowhere near doing that. If we go to the transports here, once again, the 3-2 years just going out near the highs. The quarter, it's just the 222 D2 didn't quite make it to the new highs, but nowhere near a reversal here after that 1 quarter down we had there. If we go to the utilities and Utes here on the quarter, going out on the highs, finally trying to get out of this range that from the pandemic. If you go to the year, here still that outside year. We're taking that out, so it's still nowhere near taking this thing to the downside as yet. Like I said, a lot of things going to look like that. If we go to energy, it gets a little more interesting. You got an inside year for XLE. Like I said, you can have change in continuity without getting that signal, but now you can have that signal because you had that 312 down, and now the 212. If we can take that out, if you go to XOP, a little bit better here. And if you go that quarterly, sorry, let's go to the quarters. Here, quarterly, if they want to back it off, you got the shooter there. But if you go to OIH, and OIH is stuck in here on the quarter and on your year. Here, inside year for OIH. So we'll see if a lot of people talking about energy coming back. So if it's going to work, it's going to be an inside year and up. So we'll keep an eye on all that. If we go to XLP, another 3-2 year going out on the highs. And we know a lot of defensive names have been strong here coming into the end of the year. And that's going to give you a quarter like that, big outside quarter to the upside. If you go to XLF, and XLF slightly up on the quarter with FAS here, although backing off significantly off the highs there, as you can see. If we go to the year, still nowhere near taking this out, but once again, we'll keep an eye on those outside years. If we can get anywhere near those things, that gets my attention, but right now, no such luck. And KRE finished off the RevStrat year up into here. And the quarter backing off a little bit after the RevStrat quarter. Takes these guys out and then just exhausts a little bit up into there. If we go to the IBB, and IBB a little bit worse here on that 2 down quarter. And the year potentially back in here. So you can see this IBB, if anything, is closer to taking this back down for the 322. So there'd be some trouble in there. So we'll see. If we go to XRT retail, XRT, the 3-2 with the game stonkers and all that kind of fun. And the quarterly outside quarter for XRT. So that's a broadening formation to keep an eye on. That could get interesting in there. If we go to SMH, and SMH just going out near the highs, like a lot of this tech stuff here. And the year, your XLK, SMH is still blasting, so nowhere near reversals on those on the year, and on the nor on the quarter. Go to gold. And gold, we've been waiting this one here to cut this quarter, be a rev strike quarter, 3 quarters inside of this, but we've been knowing this all year. Gold, GLD, inside year. How are you going to get outside of that and somewhat middle of the range, so you still got to break that. Okay, to start off the new year, inside on the quarter, Morgan Stanley. Above 105.33, below 93.88 on the inside quarter. AMCR. AMCR, the 3-oneer. 12.49 below 11.25 on that. Kroger. And Kroger closer to being inside quarter to the upside, and that would be above 47.04. We go to Amazon. And Amazon, it's close. Nope, that's an inside quarter, and that's the low of 3,176.25. You're closer to taking out the downside. You can see this thing's been stuck for a while. If we go to PSX, refiners, and that's closer to taking out the downside, below 67.08 at this point. But you can see all this jammed up into this thing, Mulder bar, so we'll see. If we go to BTBT, inside quarter shooter and ready to take out the lows. You're right on the low, below 605. You're right there. Things take this thing back down. If we go to Patterson Energy, and tight little inside quarter, so we'll see on that 1013 and 670 on the downside. If we go to SBLK, inside quarter, high of 25.46, low of 17.80. If we go to Dick's, and Dick's nowhere near taking it out, so you're possible inside quarter, but you got a high of 142.78 and a low of 98.28. If we go to TSP, inside quarter, you got a big mother bar outside of this thing to take care of, nowhere near taking either side of that out, so we'll see. If we go to NLOK, NLOK, inside quarter, and that's going to be 26.75 or 23.77. If we go to STOR just kind of jammed in here. It looks like we got us a 3-oneer though. 36.13 or a low 32.13. If you go to Cat Tractor inside quarter, but right in the middle of it. 216.47 or 187.72. If we go to Nucor Steel closer, taking out the upside, so that would be above 122.06 on the quarter. Danaher DHR, and that's closer to taking out the highs. Not too much magnitude on it, but above 331.68, almost there, would be inside quarter to the upside. Go to VFC. And VFC, you can see mother bar issues and all of this thing, but you are inside quarter. 78.91, 65.66 on the downside. If we go to CC, closer to taking out the upside, and that would be above 34.08 on the inside quarter. DOCS. And, where do you think you're going? Much closer to taking out the downside here, below 46.35. Go to BLL. BLL, you can see all this stuff kind of stuck in here, but it is a 3-1 quarter. And 97.61 on the upside of that. Go to IFF, Fleeve. And there's another 3-1 quarter, closer to taking it out upside if you take out 155. Triple N in the REITs. Closer to taking out the upside in the quarter would be above 48.53. If we go inside in the year, we've known about a lot of this stuff. Your energies, your pandemics, Carnival Cruise, inside year. The low of 16.32 or a high of 31.52. We got a NCLH. A lot of this stuff going to look similar, closer to the downside. And that downside would be below 1778 or above 3449. American Airlines here, closer to the downside, below 1471 or above 2609. Intel. And Intel, closer to taking the downside on the year, below 4787. If we go to Verizon. Verizon inside year, closer to taking out the downside, above 4969. Go to Rig. Let's come to that. Riggy. Inside year, 225 or 513. GOLD. GLD in the golds, closer to taking the downside. That would be below 1727. You can watch it obviously with GLD. Exxon. Inside year, closer to taking out the upside. Above 6638. Wells Fargo. Inside year, closer to taking out the upside above 5256. Citicorp. Yes. Inside year, closer to the downside. 8029 and 5740 on the downside. Coke. 3-1 a year, closer to taking out the upside. Above 5935. Oxy. Inside year, upside would be over 3575 at this point. Kinder Morgan Energy Partners 3-1. 1348 on the downside, 1929 on the upside. Boeing. Boeing, inside year, closer to taking out the downside, and that'd be below 185.26. Slob. Inside year highs 36.87, closer to taking out the upside. We can watch all that with all the energies we know. United Airlines, shooter inside. Downside would be below 38.88, and you're closer to taking that to the downside on airlines. Delta. So downside would be 33.40 or 52.28 on the upside. QS. Inside year down below 1912. You're close to that. Walmart inside year. And that'd be above 52.57 if they can take to the upside. Fubo. Fubo closer to the upside, and that would be above 52.50. Okay, second here. GILD, 3-1 year. Be above 74.12 if you can get up there. GILD. Chevron. Going after the year above 119.34. APA. Above 31.14. Energies. LVS. Closer to taking the downside. That'd be below 33.75. Pandemics. Southern Company got a lot of Utes in there. 68.88 or 61.38 to the downside. SU more energy. Above 26.97. Walgreens. Above 57.05. IBM. 3-1 a year. 152.84 or 114.46 on the downside. RCL. 99.24 or 64.20. Colgate. Mobile Hammer. Above 85.56. Not a lot of magnitude on that, but it's close enough. We'll see. ZM. Year to the downside below 174.66. Valero. 84.95 or 54.78. Wynn Resorts, closer to the downside. Takes out 76.03. Oprah, WW, below 14.75 year and downer. FSLY, closer to taking the downside here on the inside year below 33.55. PSX, finer. 94.34, 63.19 on the downside. Baxter, 88.32 on the upside, 73.12 on the downside. ConAgra, you can see this, 3 years stuck in here. But 39.09 or 30.44 on the downside. NOV in the energies, 11.46 or 18.02. Splunk, 3-1er. 312 below 105.45. They want to take Splunk down. Kimberly-Clark, tight range here. Closer to taking out the upside here with that strength in the XLP above 143.37 on the inside year. Tyson Chickens, closer to taking out the upside here on the inside year, 62.59. Hormel, more of that XLP stuff, closer to 50.86 on the upside. LMT, 396.99 on the upside to 319.81 on the downside. Helmut Payne, Energy, 20.93 on the downside at 36.26 on the upside. Hammer on the quarter, Facebook hammer counter shooter above 353.83. Bristol Myers, 322 on the quarter hammer over 63.17. BSX, looks like a little hammer counter shooter if you can get above this thing, 45.43. MA, hammer quarter over 371.13. Rad, little quarterly hammer down in here, hard to see, but over 15.65. AVTR, there's an inside quarter hammer, Momo hammer over 42.48. IPG, also an inside quarter Momo hammer over 38.71. Momo hammer year CTSH over 90.08. GoDaddy would be Momo hammer 3.2 expansion if it's get back up over 93.75. VRTX hammer counter shooter over 242.99. Monster Momo hammer year over 99.89. BLL, I think I already have that as the inside year there. Momo hammer BLL. Shooter on the quarter, Bank of America, below 42.33. CLF. Shooter quarter down below 1879. Macy's. Shooter quarter down below 2127. eBay. Outside quarter shooter down be 3-2 below 62.82. Oracle shooter quarter below 87.18. Bloodbath Momo shooter below 13.38. EFRM shooter down below 92.06. CRM below 245.25. Airbag and bag. So you can take this out, 149.44. Target, 3-2 down. If you can take this out below 214.60. Coinbase, we call shooter down here, below 224.51. Urban Outfitters Momo shoot quarter below 26.75. SunPower, 3-2 down, below 1934. Goldman Sachs, quarterly shooter down below 366.65. Adobe, 3-2 down on the quarter below 538.05. GameStonk, 3-2 down if it's over, below 129.50 on the quarter. Etsy, shooter down below 194.37. ENPH, 3-2 down quarter below 143.45. Lulu, shooter down below 366.45. DOCN, shooter down quarter below 68.66. Yearly shooter down Palantir, below 17.06. For those apes, AMC, that's nowhere near taking anything out there. We go to, well, this stuff's also inside, so get through here. Plug, hard to see, but yearly shooter below 1847. Space, ow, below 1286. Twitter, 322 year, below 4101. NVAX, shooter year, below 109.01. Mara, you got some distance on this one, but 1053, so you got some distance if they're going to take that out. Riot Blockchain, tough to see shooter, but it would be below 1535. Snap, shooter year below 4296. Southwest Air, Shooter counters hammer year below 38.66. GE. Shooter counters hammer year below 83.20. Cheese ketchup, KHC. Shooter counters hammer year below 31.60. Spirit Airlines, that's an inside year shooter to the downside in the airlines, 1952. Best Buy, 322 shooter down, year below 94.54. CrowdStrike, 322 shooter down below 168.67. WB, 3-2 down, China, below 27.30. And I think we'll leave it at that and let them open. Like I said, there's not too much on the to the downside in the broader stuff, but you can see there's a few sectors like we've been waiting for a while, for a year, with the pandemics, the energies, most of that stuff going inside on the year. So that could give us a nice cue to what's going to happen. All right, that's going to be for today. I'm Rob Switz, Mr. Black, the Macro Vid.